Today is September 11th, and I wanted to give you a quick drone update on the September 30th possibility of the ban for Chinese-made drones and components, and a timeline, a clear timeline of how this is going to go down month by month and how it could affect the entire industry and the hobby industry. Now, starting out, right now, we're looking at a September 30th ban timeline. Best Buy's already cleared out, Amazon stock is super low, and this threatens 85% of drones for hobbyists, farmers, and first responders. And if the ban goes into effect, it will affect over 450,000 US jobs immediately. So let's take a look at why this is happening. Mostly it's over national security concerns. In Washington, D.C., they say that Chinese drones like DJI could collect sensitive U.S. data, and currently DJI controls 85% of the U.S. hobby drones and 70 to 90% of agricultural and professional markets. In 2024, 86.7 million in drones came in from China, driving 1.4 billion in U.S. sales. And right now, the DJI U.S. store is down. You can't make orders to the U.S. as of 2025, and Amazon only has a few minis left at $299, and the US tariffs for Chinese drone imports are still in place, leading most Americans not to want to purchase outside the country, because in the end, the American consumer is paying for the tariffs, not China. But overall, the ban could cut 80 to 90% of hobby gear and 85% of agricultural and first responder drones. No solid US replacement for DJI is in sight yet. There is talk of Skydio and Teal, but they mostly focus on government contracts. And I've been telling you guys to stock up for over a year now as this has been coming to fruition. Here's how the ban impacts hobbyists, agricultural, food prices, first responders, police, search and rescue, with the percentages and what you need to do through 2030. Here's how this is all going to go down. September 30th through December 2025, the ban starts. Now 80 to 90% of stock dries up. If restrictions begin by the month's end, imports are going to stop. We're talking about the hobby. 85% of drones and parts are going to disappear. Stock lasts 2 to 4 weeks, and Amazon's already 90% out. Agricultural, 70% of spraying drones, handling 40% of agricultural farming, stall, yields price drop 5 to 10%, which again passes on rising food cost prices to the consumer at a rise of 1 to 2%. And first responders, police, search and rescue, they rely on 90% of DJI drones for rescues and operations. This is going to lead to a 15% slowdown in emergency response times in fires and 911 calls. By the end of December, we're likely to see leftover prices jumping from 100 to 200%, $50 parts going up to around $150. Now by January to June 2026, we're going to have a supply crisis with 90% of drone parts and components gone. And used market prices are going to spike. $400 kits are going to reach upwards of $1,200. And as a result, many of the American RC clubs are going to lose a large amount of participating members, maybe even 50% or more. And by this time, agricultural is suffering 67% loss of small spray business, causing yields to fall 10 to 15%, again, pushing food prices up 2 to 5%. And by mid-2026, we're going to see that first responders, police, and search and rescue, 90% of thermal drones will be out. Searches will be slowed down 20 to 25%, costing $500 million in delays. And by this time, the prices are still going up 100%. Price hikes, drone parts and availability for US supply are at 10 to 15% stock rates. So our biggest advice on what to do by 2026 is start learning how to repair your existing drones and stockpiling parts for hobby purposes. Now, by the later half of 2026 through December 2027, this is where the tough transition begins. 50% of the supply may be back, but the Drones for America Act phases out Chinese systems by 2028. By this time, the US hobby will have limited supply of US drones appearing, but they're going to cost around $600 versus the original price of around $300, with about 100% price increase. And also by this time, we're forecasting that an agricultural report will report a 20% efficiency loss, resulting in 2.5 billion higher operational costs, resulting in higher food prices again from 1 to 3%. Helicopter reliance slows operations, and prices 50 to 100% higher. Availability will be around 30 to 50%. By 2028 to 2030, this is the recovery phase, yielding in a 70% return of drone stock in the United States, and it's still not 100%. And reaching full component bans by 2031, the US drone market grows by 17 billion. This is sort of drone industry insights that we've compiled for this perspective. Hobby market leading 70%, supply coming back again, but the prices will be 30 to 50% higher by this time, as well as agricultural yields stabilizing 5% below pre-ban, but food prices start to normalize. And first responders, police, and search and rescues, the grants restore up to around 80% efficiency, saving around 100,000 jobs at this point in 2030. And prices are about 30% premium, and the availability is somewhere near normal. Majority of this data was compiled from sources online, but this is what the current models are seeing and suggesting of how it will affect the US economy. So this ban will immediately disrupt over 450,000 jobs. If you are someone who has a drone job, please speak up and comment in the video down below. And we're gonna hope that these prices don't keep increasing. We know availability is gonna happen. That's gonna drop dramatically by December, and it will probably give us a price cut and cost of 10 billion from the US economy. So it's going to affect everyone: hobbyists, farmers, first responders, and you, most importantly. This ban is going to trickle down to the average person across the board. Again, let us know if you're stockpiling your drone parts and components before this ban goes into effect, and stay tuned on the channel. I will keep you updated with the latest in drone news and new releases, reviews right here on the Drone Camps channel, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Take care, and I will see you on the next one.